Hello, I'm Nathan Judah. I'm here with Wolves reporter Mr. Liam Keane. Liam, Brighton 2, Wolverhampton Wanderers 2.
Take a breath.
This is why we love the game of football. Evan Ferguson, 2-0, game over. Everyone's going to be absolutely devastated. 2 huge games, and all of a sudden, a comeback from absolutely nowhere. Ryan Aït-Nouri and Matheus Cunha right in front of the Wolves fans, and you've gone from absolute despair to that almost feels like 3 points.
Yeah, it does. It's a massive point. To be a little bit cliched, could it be a turning point for Wolves? Look, credit to Brighton. They're a fantastic team. They really are. They didn't actually create a lot today, I don't think.
Clear cut wise,
I think they dominated possession. Wolves actually defended quite well. And that first goal that they give away in that first half is almost criminal from Wolves' point of view. Jose Sarr, obviously the discussion around goalkeepers at the moment, kicks it straight to Kadioglu and hands Brighton an opportunity to go forward, and it's a very good goal. After that, into Rutter, into Welbeck, and it's a good finish. But Wolves were 1-0 down for the majority of this game, really, and it could have very easily been 0-0. It was a tight game, there wasn't a lot in it. Wolves were much better second half in terms of offering a threat. That was the biggest criticism really from the first half. Didn't offer anything going forward. Larson very quiet. Cunha not involved in the game. Aït-Nouri very deep. And all of a sudden, a couple of changes at half time, and Wolves find a little bit of life. And then they can see the second. And you think the game's gone, don't you?
Of course you do, especially here.
And look, Evan Ferguson, it's a fantastic finish. I think he takes it really, really well. Slightly unfortunate from a Wolves' point of view. And you find yourself 2-0 down and the game's gone. Within 3 minutes you equalise, and it just gives you that little bit of impetus. And what a moment at the end.
And look, a lot of the fans I've spoken to after the game are giving credit for that. And it was a pretty ballsy half-time change as well. Carlos Forbes coming on. We'll talk about back 3, back 4. They went to a back 4 as well. And Wolves definitely looked a lot more threatening, didn't they? Even when they went 2-0 down, but before that they had a better second half. They were the better side second half, and thankfully they were rewarded right at the death.
Yeah, I think Gary Neville's clearly identified an area to carry more of a threat to hurt Brighton, and I thought that was in between the lines, particularly on this right side. Sarabia comes on.
We saw the good and the bad of Paulo Sarabia in that half.
We did. There was a couple of very, very poor passes that actually almost did hand Brighton a couple of chances, one in particular that Bueno and Dawson do well to stop Welbeck. But Sarabia's picked the ball up into really intelligent positions, having not played in the Premier League since August 25th against Chelsea, and he plays some really important cutting passes, and his corner, albeit Dawson does a lot really to set up Aït-Nouri. His corner ends in that first goal, and I think he has an impact. Forbes less so. I thought Forbes was actually quite poor, to be honest, coming on, and he comes off right at the end as well, the sub being substituted. But it worked. Wolves carried more of a threat.
But the width was there. It was more the width that was there, and I think when you're looking at how narrow they are with playing that midfield 3, and you look at Cunha, who was pretty poor first half. In fact, both forwards were pretty poor first half. And Strand Larsen to a certain extent in the second half. But when you give them that width, regardless of whether you give defences something to think about a little bit more, and there's more avenues there. And I do feel now going into these 2 games that you might see a little bit more width from the start.
Yeah, and I think particularly with the next 2 games being at home, you're going to have to, aren't you?
You've got to start winning the game.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a win, but you have to take what you can from 2-0 down, and it's a massive moment for this team. There was a show of togetherness with the supporters. The supporters were fantastic towards the end of that game as well, spurring the team on. They get the equaliser. Cunha, perhaps slightly selfish in taking it on, and I'm thinking, just pass it. There's a pass there. There's 2 or 3 passes. By the way, Tommy Doyle, my word, that is absolutely superb in that corner. 4v1 and somehow wins the ball.
Yeah.
I think he's a fabulous player. Yeah. He gets criticism from some sections of supporters. I think he's a wonderful player, I really do. Wins the ball there, plays the forward pass into Cunha, and Cunha carries it, and he's got 2, 3, 4 passes to make. I think please just find someone. There's a tap in here somewhere. He gets a little bit fortunate with the deflection, albeit it might have been going in anyway. And what a moment. Big player. I tweeted this at the time. Big players stand up in big moments. Matheus Cunha didn't have his best game in the Wolves show. Better in the second half, but not his best overall game. And he pops up with a massive moment.
Yeah, look, it's still 2 points from 9 games. So but they are off the bottom of the table, and it does feel like a turning point. It does feel like in front of those fans as well. They were invested in this game. You could see how much it meant to Gary O'Neill at the end there as well. Look, if they'd lost this game 2-0, we're not talking about this. It's a massive game for Crystal Palace. It's still a massive game for these. it's only 1 point, but at the same time, you do feel that's something to build on, that will galvanise us. Look, Brighton are a top side away from home, a really, really top quality side. That will give these players a confidence. You can play well, but if you're losing every single week, you've still got that underlying. Well, we're not going to be good enough here. We'll lose a goal and we're going to lose the game. But that's going to give them plenty of hope going forward into 2 huge games. I know they've got to win 1, if not 2.
If that doesn't galvanise them going into 2 big games, nothing will, because this is an emotional side. They feed off the emotion. Negatively, that negative emotion has been forcing them into some very, very poor results and some poor performances over the last 8 or 9 games. That should spur them on into some big performances now and results. You have to go and win these games now, and Wolves got a great opportunity. Look, there's got a lot of work to do to catch up with sides, but that 1 point is going to give them the impetus to do it. They're a talented team. You have, as long as they're set up right, set up correctly, which more often than not I think they have been this season. Brentford obviously being a good example of them not being so. Then they will get points. They will score goals. They will have big performances, and that should be the moment that pushes them on.
Look, it could have been a lot different, couldn't it? Tommy Doyle had a fantastic chance first half.
He did. He did.
You know, you look at Andre was on the bench today. Has Tommy Doyle done enough to keep his spot? I would think probably so.
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
You know, Sam Johnson was not in the squad today. You think he'll be fit next week? That's an interesting decision because, albeit I thought Jose Sá overall was pretty good today.
Yeah.
You can't give away that goal, and we talked about goalkeepers all day long.
No, it's a really poor goal to give away. Albeit his overall performance was actually pretty decent, wasn't it? I don't think there was anything particularly poor from him aside from that one moment of madness, really.
Which is what he's going to be remembered for.
Exactly, and that will linger in the minds of those making the decisions, I'm sure. I think at the moment, in my personal opinion, I don't think Sá's done enough to lose his place. But Sam Johnson will be coming back in, available, and we will be expecting and desperate to be playing.
I'm just waiting. I haven't been able to do a .com yet this season. I feel like I can do it today, but I can't do it because it's only a point.
I think if he won
it's only a point. It's only a point. I'll wait till Palace. It's Brighton 2, Wolves 2 for all the post-match reaction. Make sure you log on to expressandStar.com.